Welcome to another Thursday lab of water resource engineering. Today we're going to go over the storm sewer network analysis project part 1. I'm going to talk a little bit about the introduction part. So I'm going to go into analysis of existing stormwater network first, since that is part 1 of our lab. The modeling objective is to analyze an existing portion of a stormwater network within the city of Manhattan. So think of it as kind of a scenario where your firm has been selected to conduct an analysis of an existing stormwater network. So we'll break off into our teams again. Each team will be charged with analyzing the capacity of an existing portion of the stormwater network of your choice within the city of Manhattan. The stormwater network selection criteria must have the following components for analysis. The first one is the network must reside within the Riley County GIS Manhattan city limits. The network must have most of its components dimensioned within Riley County GIS. You may have a few things where you can't find it, and in those cases you'll have to make some modeling assumptions. At least one pipe within your network must be 18 inches in diameter or greater, and the system must have at least 5 surface inlets. Some helpful hints I can give you is select a network that is at the headwaters. If you select a network that is in the middle or downstream of a much larger network, then you'll have to calculate what is coming into your network. Explore in Riley County GIS first to see if there is adequate information, and have at least, so I would say, 2 to 3 potential networks you think you might want to analyze or be interested in, and then solidify your decision with a site visit. So remember, this is a multi-part project, so we do not know yet what challenges will be presented to us or the full scale of the methodology needed to finish this project. This lab simply involves setting up a baseline for future use. The next part I'm going to talk about is the approach part of it, or you can think of this as the methodology. The very first thing you'll need to do is data collection. So just as we have done thus far, like with the watershed assessment lab, the first step is to gather information. We want to learn as much as we can about our site. What you learn or synthesize from the information gathered can go into your site description section. The next thing we want to do is set up an existing scenario. So you do have enough information thus far to do some preliminary calculations, such as determining the curve number, finding the longest flow path for time of concentration, and so on. And then what we do after this is yet to be determined, but these first 2 steps should keep you pretty busy. The next section is the site description section, and obviously the very first thing you want to kind of do in your site description section is input things from your data collection. So some things you might want to gather or determine along the way in your data collection, and this is somewhat very similar to our watershed assessment report, the type of information you're going to gather, and of course it's, what you decide to include and not include depends on your modeling objective here. So one thing that's common between both reports and this one is defining your system boundary, what is included in your analysis and what is not. The location, geographic region, ecoregion, rainfall patterns, HUC ID, so on and so forth. Gather data sets using Riley County GIS website or regular ESRI GIS. Data verification through site visits and photography for documentation. It's probably not a bad idea when you go out on a site visit to bring a tape measure with you so you can know exactly what size your grates are. Some data set requirements. Well, we need to know the length, diameter, shape, and material type of each conduit within our stormwater network. This can likely be determined through Riley County GIS. The type of inlet. This can be done either through Riley County GIS, or you can go out to the site and take some photographs. Catchment area contributing to drainage to each inlet. This is something that you can either gather through Riley County GIS or through a site visit. Type of land cover, land use, or controlling flow through catchments through the catchments to the inlets. Again, this can either be determined through Riley County GIS or through a site visit. And then there might be some other items that you think you might need, so definitely, collect as much as you can. Next part is, should you use Riley County GIS or ESRI ArcGIS? That's really entirely up to you. I can give you some pros and cons between both methods, or both ways of collecting data. The first one is Riley County GIS is going to be more current as far as, with the City of Manhattan's infrastructure goes. ArcGIS may not use the same data sets as Riley County GIS, so there may be some inconsistencies there. Riley County GIS can be difficult to retain information, and what I mean by that, if you draw like a polygon or a line, it's not going to stick. As soon as you close the website, it's gone. ArcGIS will retain links and other objects created for later reference on your computer. So in ArcGIS, you can actually draw things in there. You can create shape files, and then it'll keep those shape files on your hard drive. And then when you open the file, it'll still be there. So that's one of the advantages of using ArcGIS. Riley County GIS is easy to use. ArcGIS is not so easy to use. And really, if you choose to use one or the other, it's entirely up to you. In some cases, you may decide to use both. And I personally tend to use both, whichever helps me the most to get the job done. So once you've collected all of your data, the next thing you're going to want to do is get into model setup. So this analysis should be conducted in accordance with the City of Manhattan's updated stormwater management criteria. All standards relating to computations, construction should be taken from the following documentation. So the very first one talks about proposed stormwater management criteria for the City of Manhattan. The second document has some technical drawings showing you what a lot of these stormwater network components look like, pipes, manholes, and inlets, and so forth. Keep in mind that if you're analyzing an existing one that's quite old, it may not be exactly as shown in these drawings, so you'll have to improvise some. And then the third one gives you some of the governing equations and models behind what the City of Manhattan has chosen to perform their calculations with. So you definitely want to go through and look at all of these, because you're being asked to conduct an analysis using their particular methodology. So this third document here is quite important to look through very carefully. As far as modeling tools go, again, you want to read those manuals as they outline what governing equations and tools they use to conduct their analysis. You can use EPA SWIM to model your system in addition to your manual analysis. So again, those three documents are listed here, and I'll also link these in the comments so that you can get to them directly from there. So recall in the data collection section that I talked about, you could use Riley County GIS or ArcGIS. So what I'm going to talk about now is how you can use ArcGIS as a tool to conduct this analysis. If you're not interested in using ArcGIS, you can definitely skip those videos.